Welcome to Native Bidaské, Native News Online's weekly spotlight on the people making news and leading change in Indian country. This episode is brought to you by Indian Land Capital Company.
Welcome to another edition of Native Bidaské. I'm Levi Rickert, publisher, editor of Native News Online. And with us today, we have a very special guest, friend of ours, President Buu Nygren from the Navajo Nation. How are you doing, Mr. President?
I'm doing well. It's very, very chilly, surprisingly, here on the Navajo Nation. I just got done touring a few communities on the nation where they've gotten a couple feet of snow in the higher elevations. So
Wow.
That's one of the things I've been doing this afternoon is visiting families and kind of reassuring that we're working with the counties and within the Navajo Department of Transportation to try to grade some of those roads and try to clean some of their entrances as well.
Well, listen, and Happy New Year to you before we get rolling here. It's good to see you in this new year. It's going to be a very, hopefully, prosperous year for all of us. So Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year to you, your team, and everything that you guys do at Native News Online as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, Mr. President, you have been in the national news recently about your opposition to a rocket sending human remains, cremated remains to the moon. Can you tell us a little bit about why you, as a Navajo man and as the president of the Navajo Nation, you're opposed to that?
One of the things, this issue came about over 20 years ago. And as I mentioned to some of the administrators and the federal staff, I said, you know what? I was in either middle school or elementary school when this issue first came about, when the late Albert Hale, the president of the Navajo Nation, brought this to the attention when they had an actual astronaut's ashes spread out across the moon. And at that time, the Navajo people basically said, you know, we hold the moon to such high sacredness. It's part of our ceremonies. It's a part of our culture and the way we, the balance of who we are as Navajo people here on Earth. And so NASA issued an apology saying, you know what, next time we'll make sure we consult with the Navajo Nation. And that next time had to happen, which was today, January 8th. But we found out about 2 weeks ago. I got with my team and we issued a letter stating that, you know what, a lot of time has passed, but the Navajo people still feel the same. We still hold the moon in such high regards. It's not just the Navajo people. We believe that a lot of tribes across the Indigenous people feel the same way when it comes to our moon. And the other thing is kind of talking with some of our traditional Navajo practitioners, just the thought of ashes of our of anybody's loved ones circling circling us every single day is a tough scenario to think about, because I know that within Native cultures, we try to make sure that we honor our people, honor them when they pass on from this world. And the other thing I mentioned too is, you know what, no matter how far people have looked into the universe, they have never found another Earth, and they've never found another special being like a human being, and especially like us Indigenous people. So to me, there's certain things that you shouldn't do and shouldn't do, and that's what I've expressed to NASA was, I for one will never say we shouldn't explore, we shouldn't visit the stars, visit the planets, and really push science and technology and creativity, because that through technologies like that, we're able to do a video conferencing today. But there's certain things like there's only one Earth, and there's no other human being like us, and that should continue to remain here on Earth. And then at the same time, one of the main arguments I had was, you promised to consult with us, you know, and just because private companies can get around the rules, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't consult with us. If NASA is willing to pay over $100 million to be a part of the payload, they should at least have a say and say, you know what, if the NASA is going to put up any money or be a part of any mission, then we're going to honor our commitments to the Navajo Nation. And at that time, this is the Navajo Nation and other Indigenous people that, you know what, we're not going to send cremated remains onto the moon without consulting our Indigenous people. So that discussion happened, and I had a kind of a walkthrough talk with the White House, Department of Transportation, and NASA. Even spoke with the administrator, Mr. Nielsen, who's in charge of NASA. And he just told me my commitment's still the same. If it's a NASA mission, we'll always make sure that we consult with the Navajo Nation. But my challenge to him was, if you're going to be a part of any private company and you're going to be sending money up there and you're going to have some money involved, then you should at least tell them, if NASA is going to put any dollars up on this mission, then we got to honor our commitments to the Navajo Nation and other indigenous people who hold the moon to such high regards. And then on top of that, I told them, I said, well, President Biden also reiterated the executive order in 2021, and that was issued by President Bill Clinton in the 2000s, and just saying that we will always do consultation with tribes on sacred sites, and then celestial bodies is part of that as well. So there was all sorts of factors that play into this. And then obviously today the mission didn't go too well. So I guess that's just one of those things where, sometimes Indian people, Navajo people, we try to warn some people, but we were hoping that they would have delayed the mission. And from what I'm hearing now is that the only way to land on the moon is if they crash into the moon. I think that a soft landing is not possible, and this is the first day. They're not going to land and supposed to land until the 23rd of February. So they've got a long ways to go. But this is one of those things where I think it's as Native people, you kind of know that there's another realm working in the works. And I think it's just reiterating some of our prayers and our ceremonies and the sacredness that we hold to the moon as well, just kind of playing into that as well. That's my initial thoughts.
And did the White House use the fact that there is a private company involved? It seems to me looked like something slipped through the cracks on this one. So, and because we do know that President Biden does have made a commitment to the tribes that there would be tribal consultation. What do you think happened on this, truly?
I just think that no one probably thought that the Navajo Nation was going to remember a commitment over 20 years ago. Like I said, I was in elementary school, you know what I mean? Like,
you are a young man, that's right.
They were probably hoping, they might have moved on and they might have just forgotten about it and we'll just continue to move on. But one of the things I did bring up to the team on the other side was, I said, NASA in space exploration, they're known for crossing their T's, that they get everything right. There's no room for failure, and that you all should have considered this and this should have come up. And for us to find out last minute, and we're having a meeting the Friday before the launch, you know what I mean? That's we met with them on Friday, the launch was today.
Yeah, because your letter went off in the 21st, as I recall, of December, and then there were their holidays, and anybody, especially in government, things just kind of come to a standstill during the holidays. So it was a really awkward time, even at that.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of those things where I just feel like they were just, I think everybody was just caught off guard by our letter.
Yes.
And, but I feel like our team did a great job to represent all Native people across the country, especially.
I think you did. I think you did. And I know that we ran a Native News Online, and I didn't see a whole lot of national press coverage, but ours was up there for like 3 days before. And then all of a sudden the national press coverage comes. And so I felt like you had done a really good job of getting the word out. And when you get the national press coverage where you have done, and I think that hopefully you can capitalize on that. And maybe the Biden administration will get real serious about it and dot the I's, cross all the T's on these matters.
And that's one of the things I hope so. Because there's going to be other missions this year, I believe, that's going to be taking cremated remains to the moon. So I think that, again, I'm going to try to get a meeting with NASA administrator, reiterate with the Biden administration, and just kind of tell them, NASA, which is part of the United States government, Biden, with his commitment to sacred sites of celestial bodies, I think we got a strong case that says, if the government is going to be a part of a mission, in this case, $100 million, to go into space, they should at least have some say and say, we're putting up $100 million. We have a commitment to Native nations that we're not going to send cremated bodies into space using the efforts on behalf of the United States. So either you take that payload off or we're not going to be a part of the mission. And I think they've got that authority and that power to do that. So that's going to be my hope, is that this year we kind of work that out to where these private companies, of course, they're not going to try to send cremated remains on their own, because it's hard to find $100 million in this case.
Yes, that's a lot of money. And then tell us this: you this week you're involved with the make a very important speech on the state of the Navajo Nation to the council, right? And so tell us what's going on at the Navajo Nation in 2024.
Normally, as the Navajo Nation president, I'm obligated by law to give a State of the Nation to the Navajo Nation Council on a quarterly basis. So
Okay.
it's like a quarterly report that I give to the Navajo Nation Council. So in the 100-year history of the Navajo Nation government, we've never had a time and place on a yearly basis where the Navajo president addresses the people and really address the state of the Navajo Nation. So that's what I feel like that we're doing. We're hosting it here in Window Rock. It's open to the public. There's going to be the Chief Justice, other legislative bodies from the Navajo Nation Council will be in attendance. But this is intended to start something that hasn't been done. It's going to be very historic. Like I said, it's never been done. And every major government, like the governor of Arizona just gave her State of the State today. And Biden will do his probably next month. And I felt like they basically recap what they've accomplished over the year and what they're going to do the next year and the rest of the administration. I feel like that's what's going to be historic about tomorrow, is that we're going to come together, and it also keeps the team accountable too, knowing that, you know what, the president has to deliver a speech on a yearly basis to the people on accomplishments, and that's what tomorrow is going to be about. It's going to be an exciting I'm going to get on stage about 11 o'clock Navajo time all the way to 12 o'clock and give an hour report. It'll be live through our Facebook feed. It'll be on all the radio stations across the Navajo Nation. And hopefully, if you can, we'd love for you to share our link as well to your page, and however we can try to promote that and really just show what the Navajo Nation has been working on over the past year.
Yeah, the Navajo Nation, even now, January 10th, you'll be in office 1 year. Isn't that correct? I remember your inauguration. And so how's it feel after 1 year? You feeling great?
Man, it's been a whirlwind. It's been exciting. I think that especially with the size of the land, the number of people, the different types of governments we have to deal with, the 3 different states, the federal government. I think it's everything I've always wanted, and it's been fun. I think that I'll be honest, I've gotten some white hair. I've gotten some a lot of things that comes with the job, but I feel like it's been exciting to know that the Navajo people gave me a shot to really see what the skill sets that I've acquired, because our people are always praying for know your language, know your culture, get an education, learn what it's like to work out there, and really be a part of the nation on this end. So I've really challenged my team over the past year to really be bold. I always tell them, assume I'm never coming back. 4 years is all we got. Let's make big decisions. Let's change the government the way we think will best suit our nation. So that's kind of what we've been doing over the past year. And obviously we had the reopening of the government too. That's been the biggest challenge. Is when I came in the office, the Navajo Nation government was still closed, partially open. So within 2 weeks, I lifted the mask mandate. I mandated everybody go back to work because our people need services right away. They should be able to walk into our government buildings, government facilities, talk to somebody. And because at that time, a year ago, my statement was the nation is reopening all across the country. They've been reopened for months now. And we got to take those same steps because our people need to access their government. And so that's been, I think, the most exciting part is reopening, reawakening our government, and really leading in a way I believe that has never been led before. Just keeping everybody accountable and really just asking everybody, okay, what's the issue? What's the problem? What do you need from me? Let's extend the authorities of the president and let's really interpret. And so far it's been a great 1 year. So tomorrow, Tuesday at noon, will be 1 year in office. So it'll be exciting to start my speech, and then right at noon it'll be 1 year of being in office. So again,
congratulations
thank you so much, Levi.
Now, you are a very smart man. I know that to be a fact. Your doctoral degree, the whole deal. And smart people always do self-assessments. Give yourself a grade for the first year in office. A, B, C, or D?
I'll give myself I think I did okay. I think maybe I think I did okay. There's still a lot of room for improvement. And
Okay.
I think that, this year,
Or are you a B plus, A minus?
you know what? I'm right there. Right there.
You're right there. Okay,
I'm right there.
I'll take that. That's great.
My goal is by year 4, I'm in the A+ category.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. And I know you to the point. You are, like I said, a man, a very intelligent man. Do a lot of self-assessments, and you want to be successful. So I wish you all the success, and thank you so much. I know you got to get back, get ready for your speech, and
all right.
Thank you. Chi miigwech to you.
Hagone.
If you appreciate what we do here at Native News Online, we invite you to donate to support our continued work covering Indian country. You can scan this code with your smartphone or go to the link located below this video to donate today. We greatly appreciate your support. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And be sure to scan this code or go to the link below to subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you for joining us today, and please be sure to join us again next week for another episode of Native Bidaské. Chi miigwech.